The last couple of days, we had the NBA All-Star Weekend go down, and now that that is finished, we are looking forward to the second half of the NBA season. Now, the NBA All-Star Weekend probably wasn't the most entertaining compared to all the other All-Star games and contests, but it certainly was a fun break from the NBA season. It's always just a good time in sports, but now that that is over, we are looking forward to the NBA season, not only the players, but we as fans. And a big part of that is because of these NBA storylines that have yet to be solved, at least yet. We will see. I was planning on making a video about a recap of the NBA All-Star Weekend, but it wasn't the most exciting, I will admit that. I think a lot of NBA fans are in consensus with me when I say that, so I decided to just skip out on it and focus more on this video. But before we start, in the last month, 30 days, it turns out about 90% of you guys watching aren't even subscribed to the channel, and that is a lot. That is way more than it should be. So if you like the content, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It helps out the channel grow a lot, and you will be one of the people I respect, along with the 35 people that are already subscribed to the channel. Now, without further ado, let's just get into it. So the first one is probably the biggest one, and it is one of the biggest NBA trade deadline trades ever, and we still have not seen this happen. We still have not seen the two stars play on their new respective teams, and the 76ers and the Nets. Obviously, the Harden and Ben Simmons trade. If you want to hear my thoughts on the trade, go check out my last video. I was grading NBA trade deadline deals. Now, this is going to be interesting, and I think everyone is going to be watching. James Harden will make his debut right after All-Star break, so it's going to happen in a couple days, and we don't know when Ben Simmons will, but I'm just hoping that when these two teams face off to get against each other on like March 10th, that these two players, along with everyone else, is ready to go, because that's going to be one of the most watched games of the NBA season. Usually around this time, the NBA does not get as much television televised, because there's no real reason to watch this, and then the playoffs get around. That's where the real thing goes. But this is going to be a game that everyone is going to be looking forward to. The new look 76ers and the new look Nets. Obviously, I think that both these teams won this deal and got much better than they were, and these two teams were already very, very solid. So this is just going to elevate them, and there's two teams in the top of the Eastern Conference, in the upper echelon of teams in the league, and we will see how the next 20 games of the NBA season goes for them, but mainly it is about the NBA playoffs, and we'll see how these two players fit along with their new teams. Harden with Embiid, Ben Simmons with Kyrie Irving half the time, and Kevin Durant, who might be the best player in the world right now. Next up, we're going to go with the beasts of the East, in my opinion, the Chicago Bulls, who have not even been fully healthy for most of the season. Lonzo Ball and Alex Caruso have suffered injuries that have kept them out for a couple weeks now, months, and we still, one of the best, if not the best defensive backcourts in the league. We have not seen them suit up many times. However, the Bulls are still at the top of the Eastern Conference, led by the two All-Star duo, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, two of the best scorers in the NBA, leading the charge, alongside guys like Nikola Vucevic, who's been playing really well recently. But Lonzo Ball and Alex Caruso just adds another element to this team. They didn't pull a trigger on a guy like Jeremy Grant because they trust this team enough, and this team is equipped to make a deep run. But this team is one of the most fun teams to watch in the league. And when you get guys like Lonzo, who's one of the best spot-up shooters in the league, and if he wasn't injured, he could have been a three-point contest competitor, which is crazy to say considering the improvement that he's made as a three-point shooter. And Alex Caruso is probably an all-defensive player, plays with so much grit. He's great defensively. He runs the floor well. and he is like a glue guy, the heart and soul of the Chicago Bulls team, who is one of the best teams in the league. So fully healthy, this team is dangerous, and just can't wait to see this team in the playoffs, because if anyone can win a championship, it can be this team. Next up, we're going with the NBA Playin Race, which is extremely tightly packed in both conferences. The Eastern Conference, this 7 spot, basically there's 7 really good teams they aren't in the play-in. There aren't play-in teams. All 7 of them are better than the play-in, but one of these teams goes to the play-in. So the 7 teams of the Philadelphia 76ers, the Chicago Bulls, the Miami Heat, the Milwaukee Bucks, the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Boston Celtics, who, yes, they struggled to start the season, but have turned it up recently and have played one of the best teams in the league in 2022. And obviously, the Brooklyn Nets with Ben Simmons. One of those teams is a play-in team. It'll be interesting to see who it is. And we have 5 teams competing for the play-in spot other than those 7. The Washington Wizards, the Atlanta Hawks, the New York Knicks, Toronto Raptors, and Charlotte Hornets. Every single game matters. It's going to be something to watch in the Eastern Conference. I'm definitely going to be tuning in to most of these games, just because of the simple fact that I'm a Celtics fan, and these Celtics could slide down to the play-in. It is a very, very real possibility. And then the West, the Lakers right now are in the play-in position, 9th seed. That's definitely not the ideal position for a team with LeBron, AD, and Russell Westbrook, even though AD is injured right now. The Clippers are right now in the play-in as well. And 3 teams that were well below 500 that made moves that are trying to put themselves in the 10th seed. The Pelicans obviously traded for CJ McCollum, and they are competing for the 10th seed. Same thing with Sacramento Kings getting Domantas Sabonis, and the Portland Trailblazers have been on a roll ever since they traded CJ. So the race for the 10th seed is going to be interesting. It's going to be down to the wire, and you could even expect a team like the San Antonio Spurs to get in there too. The West and the East, the play-in race is something to look out for. Next up, we got one of the more anticipated awards in the NBA, and that is the MVP. And this year might be as close as ever. I cannot say that there is a definite MVP winner. When I made the MVP race is interesting or mid-season award predictions, my guy that I was pointing at is Giannis Antetokounmpo. But Joel Embiid and DeMar DeRozan have been 2 of the hottest players in the league right now. Even Luka Doncic was far below. These guys have been in the MVP race, and they are climbing themselves back up. You still got Jokic, who has the highest net rating in the league. Stephen Curry has turned it back up, and he was the early MVP favorite. Cannot count him out. Chris Paul is on the best team in the league. Ja Morant is shocking the world. Luka Doncic is putting on a show. Devin Booker is the leading scorer on the best team in the league. It is just ridiculous. There is no definite MVP winner. And whoever wins the MVP, it goes by game. Every single day matters for the world's biggest stars, because the MVP ladder could change drastically. You could go from 1 to 5 in a week, because if you have a bad week is all it takes. There is no definite winner. So the MVP tracker is definitely going to be something to look out for. And finally, a healthy Warriors team. Now, I know the Warriors have been mostly healthy for most of the season, and they are the 2nd best team in the league. But Draymond Green has been out for basically a month. He missed the All-Star game, and he was my Defensive Player of the Year pick before he got injured, and this team was so much better. And that video came out a month ago, and I was not expecting Draymond Green to still be out. But post All-Star break, he is going to be there. And you got guys, the emergence of Jonathan Kuminga, James Wiseman might come back, and it's basically the fully healthy Warriors team. Because I was saying in my mid-season awards video, Draymond Green on this Warriors team makes it so much better. And now that Steph Curry is supposedly out of his slump, Dre and Clay had basically not really played together this season. Andrew Wiggins is coming off his first All-Star selection. This is going to be a scary team to play, and no team wants to face the Golden State Warriors in the playoffs. So, yeah, Draymond Green coming back is definitely more important than you think, and that is going to be it for the top storylines. Let me know what you are most excited for the second half of the season going into the playoffs, and there's definitely going to be new storylines in the playoffs that I might make a video when the time comes. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace.